Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the SHU Sports Report. I'm Gino Ganello.
And I'm Alex Pedalino.
Alex, we had a lot of SHU sports action this week, a lot of victories to get to, so why don't you get right into it with some women's soccer?
Absolutely, Gino. The women's soccer team celebrated their seniors on Sunday as they took on LIU Brooklyn in a Northeast Conference matchup at Park Avenue Field. The women's soccer team honored seniors Catherine Crescenzo and Kim McNally as part of Senior Day. The underclassmen carried their seniors to victory, coming out on top with a win against LIU Brooklyn, 1-0. The Pioneers dominated the match from the onset of the game, outshooting their opponent 11-2 in the opening half of play. While they had many shots on goal, the lone ball to hit the back of the net came all the way in the 72nd minute as junior Hunter Boland had her first career assist, passing the ball over to classmate Alyssa Highland, who then fired one to the back left corner for her second goal of the season. The Pioneers improved to 6-10 overall and 3-3 in conference play. Women's soccer will be back in action as they travel Sunday, October 22nd to face Wagner at 1 p.m.
Alex, what a way for the women's soccer team to stay in the playoff hunt here. Let's hope they can continue that run and make their way into the postseason.
Absolutely, Gino. That's right. They had a few more tough games ahead, but they look poised to go back to the NEC Conference Championships. Again, why don't we keep it at Park Ave with some men's soccer?
Absolutely, Alex. In a double overtime thriller, the Sacred Heart men's soccer team battled Northeast Conference rival St. Francis Brooklyn on Friday night. The game was certainly a nail-biter, especially if you were a Pioneer fan, as the Terriers had a total of 9 shots just in the first half. Despite the dominance by the away side, though, the Pioneers were able to hold on through regulation and force overtime. Things started to even out in extra time, but neither side would be able to put one in the back of the net, ending the game 0-0. Pioneer goalkeeper Robert Strain had a stellar performance, recording 5 saves to help SHU steal a point on the road against a tough NEC opponent. The Pioneers will now travel to Bryant on Sunday, looking for their first NEC win of the season. And the men's team is still in the hunt for their second consecutive playoff berth. And Alex, let's hope they can continue this run they have going here, have some success towards the end of the season and make it into the playoffs. That way we have the women's and men's soccer team in there.
That would be nice, Gino.
How about we move from the soccer pitch to the men's ice hockey rink, where men's ice hockey had their home opener this past weekend?
Absolutely, Gino. The men's ice hockey team hosted a tough in-state rival, the Yukon Huskies. The Pioneers controlled the puck throughout all 3 periods of the game, carrying the momentum from one goal to the next and constantly penetrating the Husky defense. Sacred Heart was led by underclassmen with goals from sophomore Austin McElmurray and freshman Matt Tugnis along with Alex Bates. Although SHU was outshot on the night, 45-22, junior goaltender Brett Magnus allowed only 1 puck to reach the back of the net, and with that performance, he was named the Atlantic Hockey Goalie of the Week. Magnus posted an impressive stat line with his saves as the Huskies offense entered the game with a 4.7 goals per average. With the excellent defense and goaltending and the great performance from the underclassmen, SHU would take a 3-1 victory, marking Sacred Heart's 5th straight win over in-state rival Yukon over the past 4 years. Next up, SHU will hit the road to face off against the Fighting Irish Notre Dame for a 2-game series beginning tonight.
Wow, what a huge win that was for the men's ice hockey team, Alex. With performances like that, I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot more about them over the next couple of months.
Let's hope so. Now let's send it over to Adam Chambers, who's standing by with more SHU sports action with this week's Update Corner. Adam?
Thanks, Alex. The women's golf team earned the team title for the 2nd straight year this past Monday at Great River Golf Club. Junior Chelsea Sedler came in 3rd place with a score of 157. Sophomore Anna Contreras came in 4th place with a score of 158, and senior Abigail Hood tied in 5th with a score of 163. They finished with a team score of 641, ahead of Navy and Hofstra. They look to defend the Northeast Conference Championship title this upcoming spring. Keeping it on the golf course, the men's golf team rounded out their fall slate out with a successful outing in West Orange, New Jersey for the Metropolitan Intercollegiate on Tuesday afternoon. The team finished in second place with a new fall season low with a single round of 292 in the second and final round of the tournament. 3 Pioneers finished in the top 25, with senior Matt Schubley taking 7th individually with 5 over par on the tournament. The men's golf team looks to carry over their success from the fall to the spring as they compete for the NEC Championship. On Saturday, the women's rugby team played Malloy at Cedar Creek Park in Seaford, New York. They had no trouble as they took a 36-0 lead at half and won the game 81-12. Sophomore Allie Rinaldi led the offense with 4 tries on the day. They are now 3-2 on the season as they look for their 4th win of the season on Saturday as they host LIU Post at Park Ave Field. The field hockey team had a close matchup versus MAC foe Bryant, but senior Nicole Tolley and sophomore Marlena Kolner each found the back of the net to give SHU the 2-1 victory. Haley Power had 3 saves, and they are now 6-9 on the season. They play their next game at Ryder on Friday at 7 p.m. The men's cross-country team had a strong race at the Albany Invite. They had 2 runners finish in the top 25. Senior Trevor Guerrera finished in 6th place with a time of 25:34, and Gilmar Barrios finished in 12th with a time of 25:56. They are back in action Friday, October 20th at the 15th Annual Central Connecticut State University Mini-Meet in New Britain at 3 p.m. The women's cross-country team also had a strong showing at the Albany Invite. They took home their 2nd victory of the season, beating out 6 other teams. 4 runners placed in the top 10 for SHU. Seniors Tara Connolly, Kate Svensson, and Lindsay Lucas, along with sophomore Jody DeChico, were in the top 10 finishers. With Tara Connolly's performance, she was awarded the Women's Cross Country Athlete of the Week. They are back in action Friday, October 20th at the 15th Annual Central Connecticut State University Mini-Meet in New Britain at 3 p.m. That's all we have for this week's Update Corner. I'm Adam Chambers. Let's send it over to Chris Caiozzo, who is sitting with the newest member of the Sacred Heart coaching staff. Chris?
Thanks, Adam. I'm here with men's and women's tennis head coach, William Beauregard. Coach, thanks for coming on the show today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You start your first collegiate coaching year here at Sacred Heart. What transitions are you going through coming off a lengthy career as a player?
Probably the biggest thing is just there's a lot of compliance issues with the NCAA that I wasn't super familiar with, and as a professional player, we don't have to deal with that stuff. So that's probably like the biggest transition that I'm making right now.
With this transition from player to coach, what preparations did you bring to both teams to get them on the winning track?
Well, I think probably the biggest thing that I try to stress with the players is that, yes, it's an individual sport, but we're together as a team trying to succeed. So sometimes if a player thinks that maybe they should be playing a little bit higher in the lineup, and I want to see maybe a different combination, and so just adjusting to that and allowing for that to happen, and so getting them to just be a little bit less about themselves and more about the team as a unit. And then probably one of the biggest things I want them to try to learn is how to compete for every single ball and every single point, no matter what. Even if you're down 6-love, 5-love, 40-love, I should be able to look at your court, not knowing what the score is, and have no idea who's winning or losing, because you should just be still hungry for the next point every single time. So tennis is a unique sport in that way that there's no time. So there's no clock running against you. You can come back and win, even in the most dire situations. So just getting their heads wrapped around that and just fighting for every point. That's what I want them to do.
Both teams have had some solid victories this year so far. For the men's team, Seiji Hakasawa and Chris Sauce have succeeded in both singles and doubles. What kind of leadership roles have they taken to influence the rest of the team?
Well, Seiji is they're all very talented players, which is why coaching Division I sports is great, because you're working with really talented people. Seiji, in the past, I think he's kind of fought against himself a lot. This is what I've heard coming into the program, so I was kind of prepared to try to help him with that. And I think that was the big turnaround that he's had so far this season, is that he's kind of getting to that next level in terms of his mental abilities. and skills. So I'm happy to see him just out there fighting in every single point and maximizing his potential. That's my hope for every single person across the board. And now all the other players are recognizing, they're like, where's Seiji? Where's the Seiji that we knew before? Because, he's basically just trying to embrace almost a Bjorn Borg style, where he kind of keeps it very contained and he just stays within himself and he keeps problem solving and thinking and working hard on every ball. And so it's great to see him because he's so smart. So it's great to see him using that, that off-court smarts and bringing it, on court. Chris has just an amazing personality, and so I think he brings a lightness to what we try to make a very serious affair. And so it's just a perfect blend to have Seiji's, composure and seriousness with Chris's, personality and flair, but both are really leading in terms of their mental strength, and all the players across the board doing the same. So it's great.
For the women's team, some changes in the lineups helped SHU sweep Monmouth. How have those decisions influenced the success that the women's team has had so far this season?
Yeah, so we mixed it up a little bit in the singles with Kira coming up to number 2 as a freshman. I really like her game. I think she's got a little bit more work to do if she wants to try to take over a number 1 spot for us. But I'm pretty confident that, at some point she can rise to that occasion. Bree, extremely talented, hits a big ball, so it's going to be really tough for her to kind of overtake that number 1 spot. And Liv also, she has played 1 before, so we kind of have 3 players who could play number 1. And so at Monmouth, I wanted to give Kira a shot to play a little higher in the lineup just to see how she would do. And she rose to the occasion, and it was fantastic. So I'm really happy about that.
Finally, Coach, what can we expect from both teams as they close out fall play before starting back up in February?
All right, so coming up we have the ITA Regionals, which is going to start tomorrow. So we have the women are going to Penn, and I'm actually only going to send 2 of the women down. So we're going to have 1 singles player represented. That's going to be Brianne Loria. And then we're going to have Olivia Podrzebierski. I'm sorry, Liv, complicated last name, but and Bree Loria will play doubles together at number 1 down there. And then for the men, we're going up to Yale for the ITAs, and that's going to be Corey Seltman, who's going to partner with Seiji Hokusawa at doubles, and Seiji will represent us in singles. So, and then after that, we have the NGIT Invitational and the CT Invitational on the men's side. So everybody's excited for the last the home stretch here.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Now there is a fundraiser this weekend that both the teams are holding. Can you give us some more details on that?
Yeah, sure. So, one of the things that we want to do is try to, boost the involvement in the local community. It's also if we can raise some funds to help us get even better equipment, even better, traveling arrangements and better meals and just everything. So that's basically the goal for this Sunday's event. It's a mixed doubles round robin. So from 9 a.m. to 12 noon here at the courts. I've invited, my network of tennis gurus that I know and fans. But it's for everyone to come. It doesn't matter if you play tennis or not. It's going to just be showing support for the Sacred Heart program, tennis program, and it's a networking opportunity too for the kids to meet some influential members of the community. So I just hope that everybody will just come out and enjoy, eat some food, hang out, meet the players. If you want to play against the players, you can definitely do that. So we're really looking forward to that.
Well, Coach, that is all the time we have for this week's Coach's Corner. Thanks for coming on and giving us your recap of your first season so far and a preview into the rest of the fall and the upcoming spring slate.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
For more Sacred Heart sports, we'll send it back to the desk.
Thanks, Chris. From all of us here at the SHU Sports Report, we want to welcome Coach Beauregard to the SHU family and wish him and his teams the best of luck for the rest of their 2017-2018 season. Now, Alex, Sacred Heart football had such a gut-wrenching loss this past weekend. Why don't you get us all caught up on them?
They did, Gino. It was family weekend here at Sacred Heart, and the football team celebrated their friends as they faced off against an undefeated Dartmouth team. The Sacred Heart Pioneer football team lost a heartbreaker to Dartmouth in front of a single-game record football crowd at Campus Field this past Saturday. The Pioneers executed on both sides of the ball, but ultimately 2 late-game turnovers led the Pioneers to their 4th consecutive loss of the 2017 football season. The Pioneers went into halftime with a 24-14 lead, dominating, having scored 19 unanswered points and tacking on 3 more, with a career-long field goal by senior Josh Faria in the final seconds of the second quarter. At this point, the Big Greens started to make their comeback, energized by a 57-yard punt return on their way to a scoring drive. Dartmouth then scored another 2 touchdowns in the 4th to take the lead 29-26. The Pioneers had 2 chances to tie the game with 5:47 left to go. After driving the ball into the red zone, Duke threw an interception at the Dartmouth 2-yard line. Sacred Heart again got the ball back with 59 seconds to go, but they were unable to capitalize on the opportunity with yet another interception. Even with the loss, many Pioneers continued to post career highs in the game. For the 3rd consecutive game, senior Kevin Duke set a new personal record in passing yards, completing 36 of 52 passes to go along with 330 yards on the game, along with 3 touchdowns. Duke completed passes to 8 different receivers, with 10 grabs by 5th-year senior Byron Barney for 93 yards. Ezekiel Ennis, the NEC Rookie of the Week, had 8 catches for 69 yards while earning his first career receiving touchdown. On the other side of the ball, senior CJ Parlevis led the Pioneers defense with 12 tackles to go along with an interception. The Pioneers go on the road to face NEC foe Robert Morris on Saturday. Kickoff is at 12 p.m. It was quite the close battle between the teams, but the Pioneers almost pulled off an amazing upset.
Yeah, absolutely, Alex. You know, it was a tough loss. I was at the game when they were driving down to the red zone. I was confident they were scoring. They were down there, but as we know, they threw an interception and lost the game. But hopefully they can pick it up next week against Robert Morris.
Let's hope so, Gino. The football team had a similar weekend to women's volleyball just 2 weekends ago, but I heard they turned things around this past weekend. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely, Alex, and that they did. This past weekend, the women's volleyball team welcomed both LIU Brooklyn and St. Francis Brooklyn to the Pitt Center, looking to inch closer to 500 in NEC play. On Friday, the Pioneers took to the court looking for their 2nd NEC win of the season. They got off to a hot start, winning set 1 25-13, dominating the Blackbirds from the first serve. Despite the hot start, though, things cooled off a bit in the second set as LIU was able to snatch a W, putting some pressure on Sacred Heart. That led to a tough-fought third match that would seem to be the difference maker as Michaela Dole powered down a kill for a 26-24 win to make the match 2-1. After that, it was all Pioneers as they took down the Blackbirds in the 4th set 25-16 for the 3-1 win. Michaela Dole and Julia Morowinski led all hitters with 14 and 13 kills respectively. On Saturday, SHU faced off against St. Francis Brooklyn, looking to capture their 2nd NEC win in a row. There was never any doubt in this one as the Pioneers bullied the Terriers set after set to the tune of 3 straight wins, 25-20, 25-20, and 25-22 respectively. The Pioneers had 2 atop the kills list once again as Michaela Dole and this time Liesl Nellis led the match with 15 and 16 kills respectively. Dole would also wrap up co-NEC Player of the Week for her performance over the weekend. SHU will now travel to Jersey this weekend to see if they can even up their conference record at 4-4 against Fairleigh Dickinson University.
Women's volleyball is looking to get back into the top 4 in the standings to claim a berth to the NEC tournament.
Yeah, absolutely, Alex, and there's still plenty of time to do that. A full cycle of NEC teams to play still, so let's hope they can build off those last 2 wins and make it into that NEC tournament.
Absolutely, Gino. Let's hope so.
Well, that is all the SHU sports action we have for you this week. Be sure to tune in next week for all things Sacred Heart. For all of us here, I'm Gino Ganello.
And I'm Alex Padalino. Thanks for watching.